Welcome to the Plain Content File Attribute Data Importing video, part of the Introduction to IHS Harmony video series. This video will introduce the plain content file type, demonstrate importing attribute data into IHS Harmony with the plain content file, and discuss the options related to importing attribute data with the plain content file. A plain content file is a file that contains data in a columnar format. Harmony is not able to automatically identify the various data types contained within this file, and requires that during the import, you identify each column of data to be imported. These plain content files are used to import production and attribute data into a Harmony project. Common file formats include text, comma-separated values, which is a common Excel output, and Excel workbooks. Any application capable of outputting to these file types can be a source for this data, including IHS AccuMap and IHS EnterDeck. I'm going to begin with a new Harmony project. A plain content file can be imported by selecting one of the two file import options from the toolbar, or from the file dropdown under Importing, you can access the same commands. You have the ability to import a file as normal or import the file as a group. The only difference between these two options is that when you import a file as a group, a custom group will be created with the name of the import file and containing the well entities of the import. For this demonstration, I'm going to import a file as normal. You'll need to navigate to the file location, select the file, and click Open to access the file. You will then need to identify the imported data type. For this import, it is attribute data. The Import Data dialog will then be opened. Here, you can see a table of your data to be imported. You are required to identify all of the headers for the columns of data you want to import. This includes the attribute category, the attribute name, and the units. Another requirement is that one of the import columns contains the well identifier. This is used to link the data to existing wells or create new well entities if they currently do not exist in the project. As this is a new project, these values will be used to create new well entities. Once you have identified the column headers, you're ready to import the data. But before moving on, I'd like to show the options available within the Imported Data dialog. Selecting Options will open the Options pane. Of particular interest here are the options under Format. By default, Harmony will save the column headers that you set as a template to be used anytime you import data from this specific plain content file. However, there is the option to save this column header selection as a template to be used for any plain content attribute data file being imported. Selecting OK to import this data, you'll be given a dialog where you can manually filter your well list by deselecting them with the checkbox. I'm going to import all of these wells by selecting Finish. These wells now exist in the project. You can see them listed in the Hierarchy Entity Viewer. Selecting a few wells and moving to the Attributes tab, we can verify the data has been imported. In the event that you want to import attribute data, and Harmony does not by default contain the attribute, you can create an attribute to be imported into by selecting the Add button in the Attributes properties and selecting to add an attribute. This will open the Create Custom Attribute dialog window. Here you can create a custom attribute for use. And once the custom attribute has been created, the same process used to import data into the default existing Harmony attributes can be used to import data into the custom attribute. Lastly, there are some global options related to the attribute plain content file import. You can access these by selecting the cog button in the toolbar or by selecting from the Tools dropdown the options. The options for attribute data are found under Updating Data. Here you have the ability to protect existing data in the project and not allow it to be changed. Or you can set this option to overwrite existing attribute data. The last option relates to importing markup files, which can carry both attribute and production data. Selecting this option will not import any of the attribute data into the project. This concludes the plain content file attribute data importing video, which introduced the plain content file type, demonstrated how to import attribute data, and discussed the software options related to importing attribute data with a plain content file.